Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome back. Enjoy. Have fun. I'm glad you're here. I'm continuing my discussion about the heavy lift drone and the use of autonomy. If the drone, in my opinion, has enough autonomy, then you can change who is the pilot that's running the drone. And it won't have to be a 2 or 3 year trained, fully combat aviation available military pilot that could fly any type of military aircraft, provided they got checked out on that aircraft. I want one where just the guys present or the girls, ladies present at the isolated outpost could get in the plane and fly it. And the reason they can fly it is because it has so much autonomy. The plane takes care of itself. Now, this is done in Keyshot. They were at a test area here. Back in here is Montrose Regional Airport in Colorado. And they flew along this land here and then went up this valley. This is about 11 to 12,000 feet, and they turned the drone around and landed it right there. And so that's where the drone is. And of course, that's not really what's going on. This is just an image that I took off of Google Earth. But there's the drone. And they have parked it. And this is the drone that I designed that has the bent axis pumps and the CTS 800 Rolls-Royce jet engines. And these pumps are running hydraulic motors. The propellers actually have tilt rotor, so they can put it up here like this to take off. But once they get up in the air, they can switch to fixed wing. And when I originally did this, I think a lot of the drone design has been, let's work with stuff we already have, or at least that we're familiar with, and just change it a little bit. And I decided I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a military drone. And so I decided I wanted to do the question of what would the military want? And I think the first thing the military is going to say, what they want, is payload. And so this drone can lift 1,000 pounds of payload. And it can lift 1,000 pounds of payload while it also has 600 pounds of fuel on board. The drone itself weighs 3,000 pounds. And at the time I was doing this, these 6 propellers need to develop 933 pounds of thrust each. I picked 6 because there's human beings on board. My feeling was if you had catastrophic loss of one propeller, you might be able still to land with 5. So that's why I picked 6. I think if you have 4 and lose one, you're in significant trouble. At the time, there wasn't motors that could do that kind of power output. These are 233 horsepower each. The electric people are catching up. They have realized they need to get on board with this. And so I looked around for some UAS, unmanned aerial systems, electric drone motors, and I'm going to show you that because it helps me to make the point that I want to make. I guess we first should also take a look, though, and see what we're looking at. This is the Bing desktop, Portugal. I see this as, I gotta find me again here, like right there. That's me, that little one. And this is the entirety of drone activity. And I'm just trying to get across my point. And I really think if you showed this plane to the military, and said you can put 1,000 pounds in it and it'll fly for 3 hours at 125 miles an hour and can go straight up, the military would say, yeah, we would like to buy one of those. That's what I think. All right, so let's go look at the motor that I found. And this is nothing more than just a website. I typed into Google drone motors. This is German. Just looking at the way they're presenting it, it looks like a pretty good motor. 30,000 watts. Look at this. I looked and looked and looked for this and could not find it anywhere. Here I finally have seen somebody take a very specific propeller and give a thrust for it, which is great. Now, it's not the thrust that I need, but at least it's thrust up into the zone range of what I'm looking for. At 115 kilograms is about 225 pounds of thrust per motor. And I think weight, it weighs 12 pounds. And so there it is by Plettenberg. And they sell a controller for it also. Now, when we're going to talk about drones, let me show you a few other pictures. I always try to put in, of course, hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here. I have a YouTube channel. The name of it is Patrick Gray. I invite you to subscribe. I think you'd like it. I'll send some of these to that channel. I have a website. It has a menu, not about the robot. That's where you go for the drone. This is the drone. And we are talking about, at these levels, really any physically real item could hurt somebody. So if you're managing a physically real item, my advice is manage it in a manner that is legally allowed and reasonable and safe. And if you can't manage it in that way, my advice is do not create it as a physically real item. And this is something that I created. This is for testing the propellers, but this is for testing a drone model. I don't think you should start out with a fully functional drone. I think you should spend as little money as you can to make sure this is feasible. And this is simply a metal structure that can hold the 6 motors and 6 propellers. This is a 300 horsepower diesel engine. It weighs 11,000 pounds. It's not flying anywhere. I have it set up to run the hydraulic pumps, which tubing would just take the flow over here. And this is a test drone, so you can check out how to do this. And you can see that you can pick just this test drone. And these blue metal bars are bolted to the floor. So you could test this drone and it would go up in the air. Okay. It can go back and forth. It could rotate. But if you look at it carefully, you will notice these metal bars come down and come around and go to these metal bars, and so it is trapped inside of this thing. So you can spend your time working on this to optimize these motors. And if the drone, because of your programming, decided to try something stupid, there's a big red button, and the facility services people would hit the button and kill the drone and tell you that you are done for the day, and you'd have to go work on your programming. But this would allow you to get a stable hover. My opinion is, with a drone, stable hover is 90% of what you have to do. And if you have a stable hover and it's a foot or 2 off the ground, it'll be stable if it's 20 feet off the ground. And so I wanted to show you this. And I worked out, what does this weigh? This is I-beams, structural steel I-beams, about 3 inches. I actually created this structure in SketchUp. And so I took a version of it and took all the parts out and looked at how big they are. It is 178 inches long. So it's 14 feet long. And here are all the different parts that make up, and this is like 200 cubic inches, and these are 50 cubic inches. But the total structural equipment in the item is 1,856 cubic inches. The density of structural steel is 7,800 kilograms per cubic meter. I have my little calculator program here, and we can take density, we can take volume, and we can convert cubic meters, or we can take cubic inches cubed to meters cubed. And so we have 1856, and that's 0.0304 cubic meters. On the density of steel, so you take 0.0304 and you multiply times 7850, and it's 238 kilograms, which is 525 pounds. So if this thing was made out of steel, it would weigh 525 pounds. If it was made out of 6061 T6 aircraft aluminum alloy, 2,710 kilograms per cubic meter, and you do all this, and it winds up weighing 181 pounds. So I thought you would be interested in that. And we are working on the issue of, will a hydraulic motor system work? And we finally have a way to create a functioning drone with the electric system. This could be a generator. And the interesting thing about a drone is the only thing that changes in a drone is the RPM of the propellers. Nothing else changes. So if you have this flying in a stable hover, you can actually record the RPM of these propellers and look at some of those patterns. And if you can get your hydraulic motor to duplicate the RPM patterns that the electric motors are creating, then you have proven that your hydraulic motor will work in the drone. She is pointing at the clock. I have one other thing I want to show you. This is a graph that I made in CorelDRAW, and what it's showing is the thrust of a propeller as a function of time. And you might say, well, that's not right, but it is right, because the propellers are constantly altering their thrust because the central processing unit of the drone is altering the thrust of the propellers to keep the drone stable. And this would be one moment or one episode of time, and this is what it looks like if you add the standard deviation. And this allows you to analyze this thrust issue. And she's getting frantic, so I'm going to go over this in more detail, but here is the number of times it was used, and this is the rate of change of the RPM, and this is what we see, and that's the standard deviation, and this is what we have to duplicate. And I'm going to discuss that more with the next video.